Say hi, Coop. Cooper, say hi.
On the camera.
Say hi. Say hey. Hey, Coop.
Hey guys, it's Chelsea, and today I have a vlog for you about my recent fun time having coronavirus. Before I start, I wanted to basically talk about my underlying conditions that I have. Most people don't know because it's been since 2012 was when I was diagnosed with it, but I actually, in May of 2012, I was diagnosed with hyperthyroidism and basically suffered for the entire summer, with symptoms of hyperthyroidism, which includes rapid heartbeat, insomnia, basically like a lot of stomach issues. I developed a lactose intolerance, and there's many other symptoms. It's definitely not a fun disease to develop. And then I ended up finally getting in to see the doctor as of August 1st, 2012, and I was given Tapazole, which is the medication that they give you when you are hyperthyroid, and then it lowers the amount of thyroid hormone in your body, because the reason why you're hyper is because you have too much. But apparently my thyroid had been going through its own healing process due to immense prayer and just constantly being in the Word and praying for a complete healing for my thyroid, and it had already started to transition. But the doctor, when I went to her, she never did blood work. She just gave me the medication, and she gave me too high of a dosage. So I turned 21 on August 4th, 2012, and then a week after that, I woke up and I couldn't breathe. I had water in my lungs, and I didn't know why. She covered up what happened to me. I went to the hospital for 10 days. I had to have a triple lung biopsy. I was given antibiotics that were for bird flu. I ended up, what I actually suffered from was called the Thyroid Storm, where basically your thyroid is like, what are you doing? Because of all the high dosage of Tapazole, and it literally filled up my lungs like I had pneumonia. And thankfully I was able to live past that, but I basically was near death. I was on 15 liters of oxygen for a total of probably 5 to 6 days, and basically was not breathing on my own until probably the 3 days until I left the hospital. And so that leaves you with a lot of side effects that now include where I actually struggle to do basic math, and I even have a dyslexia when it comes to numbers. But now my thyroid has transitioned where it literally basically died probably within the hospital, my thyroid, and now it needs levothyroxine, which is the synthetic version of the hormone that your thyroid needs to regulate your body. And the thyroid is this little tiny butterfly shaped organ in your body, but it actually does so many things. And but I actually wasn't diagnosed with hypothyroid, which is when you have not enough thyroid hormone in your body, until basically December 2012, when I already probably was hypothyroid as of August 1st. But blood work was not checked, and that is why. And so that medical doctor did that to me, and I was never able to sue her or anything. But yeah, so that's my underlying condition, is that basically my lungs suffered like a really traumatic thing, and it caused, obviously there's side effects that I still live with, where like my brain doesn't work the same way that it used to, and then now, because I have the thyroid disorder, I have developed anxiety and depression and many other things. But like basically I have a weakened immune system due to taking those strong bird flu antibiotics, and you know, that was a very traumatic thing, and I still suffer PTSD from that. But that is my underlying condition, so I'm going to start with that. So basically, now that you know my underlying conditions and that I have a weakened immune system and that I basically get sick so super easily because of what that medical doctor did and things like that. But so June 29th, I woke up and I just didn't feel good at all. And like the day prior, I had done a keto fast, so I had thought that was how you were supposed to feel after you did a fast. But it just felt like I was out of body almost. And then I had, the night prior, I had basically been awakened by a tickle in my throat, and so I just got up and did my workout like I normally do. I usually try to wake up early enough. I go for a walk around my neighborhood, and then I basically do my hour-long workout because I'm in the middle of doing 80-day obsession, which is a Beachbody program. And then I usually walk my dogs, and I remember I walked 2 of my dogs, and I kind of felt like overly like hot when I went with them, and like it is hot in Florida, but it was just weird. Like I literally felt like I was actually having fever. I thought that also I was starting to have body aches, and I just thought that it was from my workout and like that I did one of the moves wrong. But it was weird because that was the 3rd week that I had done that particular workout and that particular exercise, and I never had any problems prior. Even the first week that you like learn the moves and you may or may not do them correctly, it seemed like something was off with me. And so I just basically that day, the main thing that I was supposed to do was, besides working out, I was putting together a campaign on the Smart Cookie files for a company that had asked me to do an ad campaign for them, and that involved my dogs. And so I put that all together, and then like as I went about it, I was sitting at my computer and I literally felt horrible, and I just kept coughing. And then I remember I had to get up from my desk, and I just felt like I needed to lay on the floor, and normally that never happens, but I just felt super tired. And so then I went to bed that night, and then my mom had to get up early for work, so I got up early. But then I remember I woke up at like 6:30 in the morning and had chills, that I got up and put a sweatshirt jacket on, and then was sleeping in my bed but still couldn't warm up. And then my mom took my temperature, and I had a low-grade fever. I slept for 2 hours that day, and then decided to rest the rest of the day as I kept struggling with nausea, diarrhea, and a low-grade fever. And then on Wednesday, I had started taking Zicam 2 on Tuesday, June 30th, and then July 1st, besides the Zicam, I started taking cough syrup. And I remember I just felt like I think I might have COVID, and I had been looking for like where to go to get tested, but I couldn't find anywhere. And actually on July 1st I was supposed to go for a job to get like there's two parts to it. You have to take a test, and then you also have to go for an interview. And like I remember I was supposed to go that day, and I just felt like I wasn't myself, and I was like, I'm definitely not going to pass a test like this. And then also I could be putting people at risk if I do have COVID-19. So I wanted to get tested but didn't know where to go, and decided to reschedule my test. And my low-grade fever broke that day, and then I just was super sick all day with diarrhea and nausea. Like I could barely eat, and I just felt super weak and like not myself at all. I remember I filmed 2 YouTube videos, but they just, actually no, I filmed 3, and I literally had trouble, like even how I'm talking to you right now, I literally had trouble talking, and then I kept coughing through the videos. On Thursday, July 2nd, I woke up feeling better, but was not really hungry. I wrote I decided to write more to my creative nonfiction work that I'm doing, and but I increasingly felt like I was fully not there, almost like, as I said, I was feeling out of body, and like I was floating in and out of consciousness. Then basically I think it was Friday night, I lost my taste, sense of taste and smell, and Friday morning I slept in and was still trying to get stuff done, and then also found out that my sister tested, she got tested at work, and she tested positive for COVID-19. And it's funny because she's somebody who goes out and like she lives a very big social life, where for me this is my social life, and that's what happened, is that she had gone to a party and then ended up getting it from somebody there. And I had been doing deliveries and like basically not really leaving the house as much, and especially in the past 2 weeks leading up to when I contracted symptoms, I never really had been doing many deliveries and wasn't leaving the house much. So it kind of is true that it could just be that you end up getting it from somebody you live with, and it's kind of scary that it ends up coming into your home and then you still end up getting it, even though you've been practicing the social distancing and doing all the things that they tell you to do, washing your hands, using hand sanitizer, being careful, like especially doing food delivery. I had been being careful, making sure I was always sanitizing my phone, and then I started wearing a mask. Obviously, I started wearing a mask because they required it in my city, and it was funny because they required it right before it seemed like COVID blew up here. And so yeah, that Friday was hard, but I didn't want to like share anything with anyone because I didn't want anyone to worry, and also like being that I had shared on my Instagram and stuff that I was sick, a lot of people did.
I also wanted to say that one thing that I do when I'm sick is watch like old shows that I used to watch as a kid, and I watched Big Comfy Couch, and it was amazing.
Messaged me and was like, you might have COVID, you should go get tested, and then I said that I would, and then I did. On July 4th, I just remember I had been working on some PR stuff for a client, and I just literally didn't feel like myself. Like it was doing easy stuff that I always do, and it just felt like it was entirely difficult to do these basic things that I'm always doing. And I felt super sick, so I just said, I'm just gonna rest until I feel better. And I even made a graphic that I shared on social media where I just said, due to illness, the Smart Cookie will be back with content when she's feeling better again. And so I rested for 2 days. In that 2 days, I slept about 10 to 14 hours each day. Plus, I took vitamin C every 3 hours, immune C once a day, and I started taking turmeric every day. And by Thursday, July 9th, I felt normal again. And basically, the only thing that I still have is like this perpetual cough that it comes and goes, or like it's just like still there a little bit, but basically I don't have any other symptoms. I have my sense of taste and smell. I only lost that for 2 days. I can eat and have normal bowel movements, and I don't have nausea anymore. But but being that I lived through it, I did feel like I needed to bring awareness to it, as well as talk about how it was hard to find a testing site. It was hard to be tested. Like, I even went to the emergency room of a local hospital, and they literally turned me away and said, unless you have symptoms, you can't go in and get tested. And being that at that time, I was the only one in my family besides my sister who had symptoms, and but my parents, you know, they're over 60, and I felt like they should be tested too, but they would only allow me to get tested. But yeah, so I ended up getting tested, and I tested positive, and then now it's been 14 days and I don't have any symptoms really. Like I said, I lived through it, but it taught me many things. First, the first thing that I really gathered from it is that when you feel off, you should listen to your body. So like that first day that I woke up and literally it bothered me to even go for a walk around my neighborhood, I should have like paid attention to my body. The second thing was that leading up to that time, I had been putting an immense amount of pressure on myself, being that I'm like kind of in between jobs, and also like a lot of my clients right now are not utilizing me for work, so I kind of just felt like I was losing on every end, and I just felt like I didn't know what I was supposed to do. But the pressure I was actually having was actually just put on by myself, and like this idea that I have to have everything together at all times, but that's not even true. It turns out that I've realized that reading and writing are talents that I actually was born with, because it's like while I was actually pretty sick, I was able to write. I wrote 13,000 words, 13,323 words, and I finished a 47-chapter book in a week. When I had already wrote the author and told her that I needed a whole nother month to read her book, and I had to make sure that like the review would be up in time for her publication. But it's funny, I actually ended up finishing her book within a week, and like that normally doesn't happen unless I'm like really being dedicated with reading. But it's funny how even while I was sick, I was able to read and write, and so those are things that I know without a shadow now that I actually are talents I'm born with, and I'm blessed to be aware of that now, and now I will never doubt those talents. The last thing that I learned from this whole experience is that my friends, my social media followers, they're honestly the loyalist people, because I stopped my content and posted that thing in my story, but basically didn't know if I would end up losing a ton of followers, and I actually didn't really see my numbers drop immensely. Like, I literally thought I would lose like 50 to 100 followers a day, and despite not posting, people didn't leave me, and they also were eager to know if I was okay. And like, that just goes to show that I do have good people in my networks, and I'm really grateful for each and every one of you guys that, you know, reaches out to me and checks in with me, because I didn't ever expect that this would happen to me, but I'm really, I learned a lot from it, and basically I was renewed about how precious life is, and I'm grateful that I didn't die, being that I have these underlying conditions. But this is a serious thing, this is a real thing, and if you are experiencing symptoms, find out where your local testing center is, get tested, and make sure to self-isolate for at least 10 days is what they recommend. But 14 days is like the number that, you know, you've been hearing from the beginning. So that's how long I stayed in my house, and actually I haven't left yet. So but yeah, my social media content is something that I actually stress a lot, and I always feel like I have to be always having stuff come out, and this taught me that, you know, the pressures that I feel regarding that are only in my head, and nobody else is putting those on me. There's something that I'm self-inducing, and they actually didn't help me, you know, feel better in the beginning, but thankfully I realized that I had to put everything on pause, and now I've come to the realization that I don't have to always have everything, you know, be a certain way, or always have content coming out. And sometimes it's okay to be MIA as long as you let people know what happened, and that's what this video is. I'm just letting you guys know that I'm okay, I lived through it, and I also just wanted to bring awareness to it and make people aware that it is a real thing, and but not everyone is dying from it. And also, testing should be more readily available. And also, so one thing I want to stress is that turmeric is something that you definitely should start taking if you want to help yourself either come back from the virus, or you want to prevent yourself from getting the virus, because turmeric actually literally, after those 2 days of rest, I was literally like myself again. And so I really swear by turmeric, and I really think it's the only thing that kills this virus entirely, as well as rest and prayer. And I want to thank everyone that reached out and prayed for me when I asked for prayer on all my networks. It really means a lot that people care. But like, leading up to July 4th, I actually was just like, I literally felt like I didn't know what I was supposed to do, because I just, like I said, I felt pressured by myself to get these things done. But I'm the only one that actually is putting that pressure on me. And then I just felt like whatever's meant to be will be, and you just have to get better, because if you don't have your health, you have nothing. So, but that's what I wanted to share today. Thank you so much for watching, and make sure to stay safe, and keep and make sure to live your life to the fullest. Don't let COVID-19 scare you into hibernating forever. Don't hide from the world. Make sure you shine, because this world needs your light. Okay? Until next time, feel free to express yourself.